And welcome into KSL Sports Rewind's Game of the Week. We've got playoff action for you in the 6A Lacrosse State Tournament as the Farmington Phoenix preparing to host the Pleasant Grove Vikings. Thank you for joining us, everyone. My name is Dane Stewart. Pleased to be joined by Brian Brown. Brian, interesting matchup. Region 4, always so deep. PG having to come on the road to take on one of the best teams in the state in Farmington. Should be a good one here today.
It should be a good matchup. You've got Pleasant Grove coming up from the south. Had a rough season on the road, Dane. Still looking for that first victory. And it's going to be a tough one against this defensively minded Farmington Phoenix unit.
You know, it's very interesting when you look at these two rosters. It wasn't that long ago PG was in that Division C championship game and trying to build that program. Farmington, boy, good last year, great this year. 12-4 are the Phoenix on the season, 11-3 in Region 1. Meanwhile, Pleasant Grove coming in 7-9 overall, 1-4 in Region 4 play. As Farmington controlling.
Yeah, you see Tyler Jacobs there with a face-off win. He is their face-off specialist. 67% win percentage on the season, top 10 in the state there. You see, that's one of those things that you and I love to focus on in these games is those face-offs.
It always feels like it can be such a crucial aspect to the game, and especially in a matchup like this, if you're Pleasant Grove, you don't want to let Farmington get out ahead much. If you can control possession, take some of the air out of that Farmington offense, see if that can maybe be a recipe for them today as Penelude working around, sends that up high with Blackhurst. Blackhurst had that checked loose. Good work there by that Farmington D. You talked about it, Brian.
Yeah, it is, and it's a unit that's been stingy all year, led mostly by their goalkeeper there, Leif Erickson, who actually has a shutout on the season. Pretty impressive for him to get that. But you're seeing right now this Farmington team wants to attack. They're going to bully you. They want to use their speed and their advantages. A very solid team coming out of Region 1.
You talk about speed. How about Deanda there? He flashed some wheels there as he brought it up into the offensive zone. Now Farmington bringing on offensive personnel. There's Guile coming around. A little no-look pass there. Couldn't be controlled and turned over as Cole Pentalute working it up here for the Vikings, but he gives it away.
A tough one there for those long sticks sometimes. You're looking behind, not thinking about what you're doing and going forward. Easy to lose those balls.
Here's Levitt. Has a little step here, making that defense move in 5-hole and a goal. Our first goal of the game to the Phoenix.
Just a great job there. Kai Levitt going one-on-one, essentially him versus the defense there. Works around the defender. Some nifty stick work and an early goal for Farmington. Phoenix starting off hot, Dane.
Well, and the thing you got to love if you're a Farmington fan is the fact that they want to face off, and then they're generating turnovers, right? So even though they didn't get a lot of good looks on goal, first one they do beats them, but they're able to generate extra possessions.
Absolutely. You know, we got a chance to talk to Coach Razor at Woods Cross. He said something earlier this season that I absolutely loved. Talked about internal competitiveness. We're seeing that early on from Farmington. It's paying off big time.
Talk about this second round matchup, quarterfinal action coming up Saturday. It's a compact state playoffs. It's another face-off win here for Farmington as the Phoenix working it back here. Jacobs at X playing out to the wing with Luke Guile, and now up top with Cooper Hyde.
Jacobs is a guy that you're going to see a lot. He's also great with ground balls, just has a nose to find the action there.
Well, I thought Milne was going to take that one right to the front of the cage. Instead, probably wisely plays that out, allows the offense to set up here.
Yeah, this Pleasant Grove defense, kind of a younger unit, has a tendency to get lost a little bit when you really work through your system. If you're Farmington, you've got that goal cushion. Easy to just take it slow, really work it out, find the openings.
Jacobs had the step. That shot kept out. Good save there by Connor Day. And this is one of those matchups where it feels like if PG wants to pull off the upset, Connor Day's got to have maybe his best game of the year.
He does. And it's about stopping the shots that you can stop easily for Connor Day. As you see, it leads to a fast break here from Pleasant Grove.
Richardson, the shot, that saved away. Backed up here by PG, but you got to love the quick action there for Pleasant Grove, trying to take advantage of the positioning.
Absolutely. A defensively strong team like Farmington, you want to get them off off position. You want to get them opening up those creases so that guys can come down the lane like we see there and get shots on goal. Well, that one wasn't right on goal. Those are the kind of shots that you want to get going, testing those keepers, getting those opportunities.
Well, and that's a great look, right? You bring it up the wing there, and you get that pass to the middle, quick shot, just bounced high. You see that Farmington defense collapsing, taking away space. Penalute, this is Josh with it. Josh tried to send out. Remember, it was just a couple weeks ago. We were at PG. Connor Day had himself a game against American Fork.
He did a great job early on and just wasn't able to hold the stamina throughout the course of the game. That's been a problem with this Pleasant Grove unit. Struggled a little bit in the fourth quarters there, and that's when American Fork was able to take over. But
well, and it was an outstanding performance by the AF defense as well, as Day did everything he could to keep him in it.
It's such a team component when it comes to this game. It really is.
Yep.
I think you see so many of the top teams in the state start with solid defense for that reason, Dane. The defense creates so much of the offensive opportunities.
Speaking of, here is PG after they were able to get the turnover on the other end. Setting action up here, back up top here with Nelson. This PG offense, it's got players that can score. They just don't have a lot of depth, Brian.
And that's, I think, part of the reason why you see them start to falter a little bit there in the fourth quarter. Only about 1.4 goals scored in the fourth. You know, young team, young program, still trying to develop that depth, whereas you've got this Farmington team that is loaded with talent. Several all-region players on here. In Region 1, one of the better regions here in state.
1.4 goals in the fourth. Look at Mr. Analytics over here, huh? Ryan Brown bringing his A game. Good check there. There's a flag now coming in on the play, and we'll have our first man-up opportunity.
It's a good thing someone taught me to read, Dane, because Max Preps has all the stats, all the advantages. If you're really getting into these lacrosse games like I have, kind of help you tell the story for all these teams. Really appreciate all the staffs out there that update the statistics for us. It helps. So we don't get to see every single game, Dane, unfortunately. I wish we could.
I know, if only we could free up more time, huh? So man up here for Pleasant Grove. An opportunity to try to tie things up early on. That pass sails. Good help there over the top by Polister. Back here to Josh. Good work. Shot and a goal. Boy, that's how you execute the man up. PG capitalizing and tying it up.
Yeah, just a great job. Like you said there, I believe it was Isaac Nelson on the goal, finding the open spot there in the lane, just ahead of the slide from the defender there. Farmington not able to get there in time. He's got a wide open shot on goal. That's a tough one for the goalie to flip from one side to the other. Great job by Isaac Nelson, sending the rocket shot in the back of the net.
You know, one of the things that we've seen, and I even saw it with Utah this year, so I don't say this to be a knock against anyone, but sometimes that ball, the boom, it just isn't crisp enough, isn't aggressive enough, right? You kind of play around the outside. That wasn't the case there with PG. It was passing with intention and finding the back of the net.
Yeah, and if you're new to the game of lacrosse, new to the sport of lacrosse, very similar to basketball in that regards, right? You want to create space. You want to create open lanes, open opportunities, get those defenders sliding. You see Pleasant Grove there with the internal competitiveness right there off the face-off. Not able to control the ball, but you love the aggression.
Here's Dante Coates bringing it ahead. Of course, the son of football head coach Daniel Coates. Dominic Coates also on this Farmington sideline, but not suited up today for the Phoenix. Kai Levitt trying to penetrate through the middle, and that one kicked out, bounces wide, and how about the recognition and the goal scored by Farmington's Mason Hepworth.
Well, that's why Mason Hepworth leads this team in goals, Dane, right there. You see it. He's in the right place at the right time, stays with it, gets the rebound. Nice wide open shot. All he has to do is execute on that one, and it's another tally mark. I believe that's 35 goals on the season for Mason. Also an all-region nomination for him this year as well. You mentioned both the Coates joining him on the all-region team.
Well, that's a tough thing because Day makes a really nice save. It's just there's no help on that weak side. It's an empty net.
Well, you look at Connor Day's save percentage on the season. He's a little below 50%.
Yeah.
And I think you see why right there. You've got to have that help of your defense. When you get the one stop, they've got to be there to help you recover on the second. Great job by Farmington to take advantage of it, though.
Yeah. Well, and that's one where you recognize that net's open, hurry and get possession and throw it back on frame, as this is Hepworth with it again.
I imagine we'll see him in possession of the ball a lot. Like I said, 34 goals on the season, 18 assists, leads the team in both categories, overall points.
Quick step here for Milne. Working around, trying to hand one off right in front to Levitt, backside. And that one backed up here by the Phoenix. 5.5 to go here, opening quarter. Has a step, skipped across, worked out. Milne the shot to the top corner, and the Farmington goal makes it 3-1.
Just a great example of execution there, Dane. You're finding the open man. You've got the Pleasant Grove defender. He's out there chasing that cookie. We don't want to chase the cookie. Gets too far out, gets too far extended. That creates a nice wide opening there. And I tell you what, Mitch Milne, he was not going to miss. He was going to either go through the goalie.
Well, we talk about ball movement. I mean, that's doing it even strength, right? Mm-hmm. You skip that across, send it out, catch and shoot. Good finish.
For those young defenders who are watching this, well, you don't want to go too deep out there chasing after the attacking player. You got a flag here.
Coming up with an important face-off win. Yeah, flag on the play. Nelson has the lone PG goal as the Vikings now looking to set up. Important if you're PG that you never really let Farmington feel too good, right? Back-to-back goals there for the Phoenixes go a long way if they could get a goal either here or on the upcoming man-up opportunity. Work behind. Hamilton tried to skip it out, plucked out of the air, and we'll get whistles. And PG will go man up here for the second time this evening.
Kind of been for us on the broadcast scene, it's been a little bit of a peaks and valleys when it comes to man-up opportunities. I believe it was Pleasant Grove that got 2 goals against American Fork when they were actually man down. Kind of surprising turn of events, but if you're Pleasant Grove, this is an opportunity for you really to take advantage and, like you talked about, slow the momentum, get things going back in your favor.
Slash the call here on Duncan. 1 minute. Man up. Actually, my apologies. I said Duncan. It was actually Tyler Jacobs called for the infraction. 1 minute man up here for Pleasant Grove. 1-for-1 on the day. Blackhurst works back out. So Lane. Josh going to try to step around. Oh, good stick check. How about the work by Brady Wallace? And here comes the junior. Boy, I thought PG maybe had a shot there on the angle, Brian. They passed it up, and now Farmington can try to make them pay despite being man down here. Working around. Day coming out. That goal's empty. And that ball on the side of the net will be captured here by Pleasant Grove.
Yeah, bit of a risky move there by Day going after it.
Man up, seconds ticking away here. Final couple reeling off. And we're back to even strength. Sent wide, turn back inside here. Nelson up with Blackhurst. Polster has help to his right in Richardson. Nice reach, skip across, shot off the pipe. A ringer by Nelson. I think PG fans were calling that to be in. I actually think that was a double pipe. Good help there on the middle. That again taken away. How about Dallin Larson?
Great job by Larson, and also great job by Zach Moore there, using a variety of technique to defend.
Oh, the spin move. Hepworth.
Oh!
And the goal. 2 goals for Mason Hepworth.
I try to stay professional on these broadcasts, but sometimes you see moves that are just so good. Gets that kind of excitement out of you. Just a great job by Mason Hepworth. A little, I'll call it a deke, but a nice little fake there, right? Thought he had it the first time, but definitely puts it in the back of the net the second time. Great job by Mason Hepworth.
How about Farmington on the counter? Beautiful work, taking advantage of momentum, spacing. And to kill off the man-down opportunity and then to put it in the back of the net. All of Uncle Mo is with the Phoenix right now. Another face-off win. Works behind. That one just left. Sweeps that wide, trying to gather for PG and Will, but double teamed there. Is that pushed out? And it will stay here with the Phoenix.
You can see Connor Day trying to be aggressive, get a little bit of energy into his defensive unit. He can't do it all. He's got to have some help there. And they really need to get some turnovers here if they can get back into this one. 4-1 right now in the first corner, Dane, but like you said, momentum all favoring the Phoenix.
Here's Mason. Hepworth, a little bit of room. The shot, that saved away. Approaching the final 90 seconds here in this first quarter. Good start for the Phoenix. PG trying to counter here is Hamilton taking this back to X. Works up top. Here's Josh. Patience here for Hamilton. Bit of a lane there. That one backed up.
One thing that Pleasant Grove has done really well this year, Dane, is assists to goals. You can see it right here.
Ooh.
Great opportunity in front of the net. Just can't handle the pass there. Like that action, like that activity from them.
Boy, that's a great opportunity. Trying to feed Blackhurst right in front. I think he just saw how much room there was and took his eye off the ball, and they're actually calling that a shot. Wow.
Okay.
Final minute.
That's the kind of grading that I need on my school papers, Dane. That's all I'll say about that call.
On a curve tonight, Brian. That shot just wide and backed up. Here's Hamilton. Good steal. That pass a little tall. Hollister able to keep that in. Oh, I had to throw it back in after he was run out of room, and now the Phoenix with a late opportunity. Final seconds ticking down. 10 seconds left in the quarter. Little juke. Jacobson saved away by Day. Ground ball as the first quarter comes to a close. Good start for the Phoenix of Farmington. They lead Pleasant Grove 4-1. You're watching KSL Sports Rewind's Game of the Week. Second round action in the 6A state playoffs.
It's feedback.
Welcome back here. Start of the second quarter. 4-1 Farmington leading Pleasant Grove. This game was tied at 1. Farmington with a nice response. Dane Stewart, Brian Brown. Brian, your thoughts on what we saw in that opening frame?
Well, it was a flaming hot start for Farmington. Is they go with 4 goals early on, bit above the season average, like 3.3 in the first quarter. But what we really saw was some great action there by Mason Hepworth, all region, leading goal scorer for the team.
We switch ends with the same result. Skipped over, shot in the goal. It's Mitch Milne with his second goal of the game. The sophomore's been spectacular tonight.
He has been, and again, just a sophomore, but you can see the talent, the potential there with Milne. He's having a bit of a coming out party here as Farmington takes the 5-1 lead. 2 great shots there, 2 great goals for Mitch Milne.
Well, you know what you love to see? He was the second leading scorer coming into this game today, had 29 goals on the year, just 5 behind Mason Hepworth. But for a sophomore to stand up in a playoff match, like, man, this young man, he's got a future ahead of him.
He does, definitely. We saw him early on hesitate when we thought he had an open shot. You see why. He's just so good when he has those open opportunities.
And no hesitation there. Beautiful job is ground ball here. PG trying to get on it. And it's Farmington coming away with that. That Phoenix D continuing to just be so strong. Ooh, tough pass there. Good deflection by Nelson, but finding its way through to the long pull of Larson. And here come the Phoenix. Dante. A lot of room. Works back, sent out. Wind up, shot, goal. And we got our first hat trick of the night. As for the 3rd time, it's Milne finding the back of the net.
For such a young player, Dane, there's a lot of talent there, but credit on that one definitely goes to his teammates as they found the open man. Great job by, I believe it was Coates there with the long stick, passing it off, staying within the system, rotating it around, keeping that Pleasant Grove defense sliding. And that's nothing but money for Mitch Milne, as he puts it in the back of the net.
Maybe we'll call him Max. He's kind of playing to the max tonight, huh?
He's maxing out my excitement level, that's for sure.
He's maxing out my goal sheet as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, honorable mention, all region. Like you mentioned, Dane, young player, still growing into it, but great potential, great future for him.
That's one of the maybe most overwhelming honorable mention players you'll see, right?
Listen, anywhere else other than Region 1, yeah, he's probably a first or second team player, but just a very loaded, stacked region up here. North of the wall, so to speak, up here in northern Utah, lacrosse-wise, it's a great culture, great environment.
Well, with the construction, it's becoming west of the wall, for those familiar with what's happening on I-15 these days. This time it's Hepworth. He did not like that Milne had 3 goals and he only had 2, so he took care of it just like that.
Yeah, well, you can let the young bucks try for a little bit there, but then you got to show why it is that you're the leading scorer of the team. Mason Hepworth doing a great job there. And really what it is it's momentum right now, Dane.
Yep.
Carrying this Farmington team as we see a timeout here. Pleasant Grove, time to take a deep breath.
You feel it, you sense it. Coach Bales wanted to end it. Timeout, PG. Welcome back. 6 unanswered goals for the Phoenix of Farmington. Ryan, if you're PG, what do you try to do to get back in this game, get a little bit of rhythm, momentum back?
Well, you can't think too far forward, Dane. It's just about taking it one step, one goal at a time. Right now that starts with a face-off. Again, Tyler Jacobs has been great so far. 67% on the season. That'll likely go up after today. He's done a great job.
Face-off was initially won, but how about the stick-to-itiveness in Farmington over Milne? Oh, come on, Mitch. We want you to shoot that. Just teasing. Worked around here with the Phoenix.
Right now it's head-to-head between he and Mason Hepworth to see who wants to be the MVP of the game.
That's the key, right? Everyone knows Brian picks a player of the game afterwards. They all want to be a part of the lacrosse version of the pancake platoon. Got to figure out a lacrosse piece for that, Brian. There's your homework. Right in front. Ooh, and that one just sailed on the shot by Duncan.
Yeah, you love the action, love the effort there. Duncan just a little bit high. It's all right.
Right in front, and it's Milne for the 4th time, and a Farmington goal.
That's all it was from Duncan. He just wanted to make sure that Mitch gets the next step up there in terms of who's going to be the MVP. And again, you never want to count a team out of this one, but Dane, right now, Farmington is absolutely rolling offensively. Not a lot of answers if you're Pleasant Grove. Just discombobulated, and you can see disheartened out there. But a great job again by Mitch Milne with a goal.
You know, it's interesting. We look at this game, and it was one where you kind of wonder, hey, how does Region 1 stack up against Region 4? Saw that in last year's playoffs. There's a flag coming in here they call. Had an opportunity to kind of see it early in this year's playoffs, so I figured, yeah, let's head on out there. But, boy, if this score were to hold, Farmington, they're going to have to go through the Region 4 gauntlet. They'd have to take on the winner of Westlake and Roy. I think most would think Westlake favored in that game. And then if favorites won out, they'd have to go up against Corner Canyon. So the Farmington Phoenix going to be tested to see how they'd fit in Region 4.
Yeah, well, like Rocky used to say, there's no easy way out of the playoffs in this one.
That is a very underrated song, by the way. That's my I Need a Drive song. It worked for Rocky. It works for me. Back in play here. Whistle there will give it to the Phoenix. Oh, an award there. Not a frequent call you see often, but indicated there.
Again, just give me that kind of grading curve, Dane. That's all I need.
That one taken out of the air by Erickson. How about Leaf? He's got some room. Keep running. Oh, Leaf. Probably the better play. Here comes Jacobson. Oh, that one just lost in the air there by Edens. Picked up here by PG. Polister across the middle.
Haven't seen a lot of possession for Pleasant Grove here in the second quarter. Good opportunity to settle in, work the offense. We've seen them have success. You know, this is a very good Farmington defense. Just rotate that ball, create that space, get them sliding.
I'll tell you, Dallin Larson's been working the big man here for this Farmington D. He's taking away a lot right in front of the cage as PG continuing to work this around. Little peel back. Back at X. Tried to slip Western right in front. Couldn't get it to him.
It's a really great job by that Farmington defense. You see why they are so highly sought after, but
Josh with the lane and able to beat it. Boy, I couldn't tell if that was in or on the outside, but it is in. And PG with a nice goal thanks to Josh Penalude.
that's what we talk about, Dane. You want to just keep with it, right? Stay within the offense. Keep working, keep working. You see Pentalute there. That's why he's one of the best players on this team. It's why he's an all-region player. 38 goals on the season. Able to sneak past the defender with a little trickeration there. You get the sneaky goal. Not quite a 5-hole. Blown away.
Yeah.
I couldn't hit him either, so I don't.
Of course, you said 38th. Make that 39th goal of the year. Procedure here will give the possession to PG. Well, and that's the thing. I mean, Josh had 38 goals coming in. Riken Davis, 36. We talk about they do have players that can find the back of the net. It's just getting them in rhythm and getting them good looks. The shooting percentage for each of them right around 300 on the season.
We've seen teams that have been able to stop Pleasant Grove have been able to stop those two.
Yeah.
And it's one of two ways, right? It's either good defense or possession.
Boy, a lane there threaded past to Nelson, sent out here with Western. Getting back on it. Dante trying to defend him. He'll retreat. Approaching the midway point here in this second quarter.
See, Farmington able to extend the defense a little bit more. Again, you've got a 6-goal cushion here.
Yeah.
You can play a little bit more aggressively, and really you don't want to give Pleasant Grove any kind of momentum.
I was going to say, can you take advantage of that space that is then created? PG working behind. Hamilton tried to go in front, and crease violation there. Will give it here to Farmington. Larson giving that with Luke. Here's Guile. Trying to duck, dip, dive, and dodge, and a whistle here will give it to PG.
See Farmington putting the pressure on a little bit here. Trying to create a turnover.
This ball continuing to roll through. Picked up by Richardson. Here's Luke. Richardson sizing up a run. Hamilton. Boy, good D there by Moore. And that one smothered. That pass a little tall. They'll turn it over as Polister there. Hamilton again will take it to X. 5 to play. Josh. Coming back, the shot. Oh, nice save by Erickson.
Yeah, really great save by Erickson there. You can see Farmington falling into the trap a little bit there. That's a hard part when you get one of those bigger leads. Get a little static.
And this one nearly turned over. I love the shot placement, though. You're going away from stick side. Erickson was just able to make a great save.
Yeah, great job by him. It's a nice thing about having a great defense in front of you. Gives you that luxury, that ability to be confident. Really work to make those kinds of saves.
Levitt sends one. GLE turning back shot. Boy, body save there by Day. Well, he's coming out. Connor Day has been so aggressive trying to push that play out and is effective. Day able to win that back for PG.
You talk about it. His aggression is one of his advantages as a goalie, really setting the tone and the tempo for his defense. As you can see, a defense that's struggling to find their footing a little bit here against a really talented Farmington attack. Part of it, trying to get those clears.
That pass up, Erickson will come out to gather. A little bit of a floater there for Erickson. Effective nonetheless, as a whistle here, a timeout taken by Farmington. Timeout Phoenix. They lead 8-2, 3.5 to go here in the first half. Welcome back out of the Farmington timeout. Impressive start for Farmington. 4-1 at the end of the first. Been a 4-1 quarter again here in the second. Milne with 4 of the goals, Hepworth with 3 to pace the way for Farmington. Here's Mason. Find some space. Boy, you don't want to leave him open.
Oh.
Mason Hepworth makes you pay as he goes over the shoulder and makes it 9-2.
The flag on the play after the fact, but it doesn't matter. It's Mason Hepworth's World Dane, and we're just living in it right there. You see him 1, 2, 3 fakes, and then just when you think maybe you got him, puts that one in the top shelf. Poor Connor Day. Someone needs to go give him a hug.
Some call that a triple deke.
Yeah.
That's a nice step by Hepworth. And
the Gordon Bombay way, and Mason Hepworth, just a tremendous job. You see why he's so highly thought of, so highly respected.
Of course, on that shot, a quarter of an inch any other way, it still would have gone in.
Mm-hmm.
Just a movie reference for us old timers. We'll head back here to the face-off. Oh, hey, we just found Coach Coates right below us. What a job he's done with the football program here and a chance to watch his sons play lacrosse. A push here will give it to the Vikings. We had a whistle. Was this called before the failure? I think so. Timeout, Pleasant Grove. Coach Bell's taking his second. We'll be back. So indeed, that timeout was taken before the failure. So PG will maintain possession here. Two and a half minutes before the half. Tried to send across a quick shot there. Couldn't tell if Levitt got a piece of it or not. If he did not, it certainly did not come out cleanly. But if you want clean, here comes Jacobson in the Phoenix. All sorts of room as Wyatt now with help. He'll set up the offense. Skipped across, wind up, shot and goal. It's Mason Hepworth, and boy, that was one that had a lot of heat on it as it's 10-2. Got a little Lightning McQueen up here, a little ka-chow going on in the Farmington box. Fifth goal of the game for Mason.
Call Mason, I was going to say Thor, but it's not Thor that throws the lightning bolts. I guess it's Zeus, because that was a lightning bolt coming out of his stick there with that goal, Dane. Not a surprise, though. Hepworth was one of the better players in the state, for sure, there in Region 1.
Another face-off, controlled by Farmington, nearly given up, but they're back on it. The everlasting ground ball drifting near side. Kicked up. The soccer game ended an hour ago. I'm just teasing. We did have a soccer game before this one. Levitt works to the angle, Milne the shot. And that's saved by Day, and he's able to win it. Talk about Region 1. Davis, Weber, Fremont, all still left in this 6A tournament, all with opportunities to advance to a semi and potentially championship. The way this bracket plays out, all three of them in the other side of this bracket in 6A. So that was deflected, so it'll be PG possession.
Yeah, interesting how the RPIC did things in the playoffs this year, Dane. It's one of those times where you kind of wish that classifications weren't a thing, because there's so many talented teams across both that you'd like to see be able to compete.
I actually really loved coming out with the ABC divisions, and I would have held on to that for one more cycle. Mm-hmm. But I'm not on the committee. Is this one off the side of the net and smothered there by Erickson?
Well, I think it's a testament to how much the sport has grown locally and just how quickly it's growing still. Just a really popular sport. I got to go watch Highland East the other night. Stands were full. Tons of kids in the stands with their sticks. Both boys and girls, and you love seeing that, Dane. It's just such a great sport, so much fun. I like seeing that growth.
Well, and I mean, it helps when you have a D1 program not far from any of these schools that's having success right now. As the final 20 seconds, Farmington looking for a late opportunity. Here's Mason Hepworth. I think he might shoot or give it to Milne. 15 seconds left. Here is Mitch. Angle. And that shot sneaks under Day, and Farmington scoring the 11th of the game.
When we talk about Mitch and Mason being the goal scorers on that one, they're the facilitators looking to get everybody involved. You see a great job passing, finding the open man for the goal. I believe that was
Bynum.
Yeah, just a great job finding him wide open there. Go low, young man. Find that back of the net.
That's one I think Day would love to have back. And you even see him in the cage trying to get that stick low, shut it down. 9-goal difference here with just seconds remaining in the first half. Final seconds ticking away. Can Farmington get one more? Yes, they can as the clock expires from face-off to finish. It's Jacobs.
What an impressive play by the junior there, Tyler Jacobs, to top off a fantastic first half. Start to finish, it's all Farmington, Dane.
10-goal lead for the Phoenix at the break. You're watching KSL Sports Rewind's coverage of the second round in the 6A state tournament on KSLSports.com. Started the second half. Dane Stewart, Brian Brown with you. Boy, what a first half for the Farmington Phoenix, leading Pleasant Grove 12-2 in this second round playoff game. Needless to say, Mason Hepworth and Mitch Milne, they're not ready for their season to be done, Brian.
No, sir, and really what they're not ready for is what's about to happen here in the second half in terms of the tight race for MVP of the game.
Wow. Well, I mean, Mason has 5 and Mitch now with 5. 10 of the 13 goals coming from number 3 and number 5 for Farmington.
When we talk about it, football, it's a pancake platoon. We might have to do syrup shots for the lacrosse guys.
Syrup shots.
And it's going to be a syrup fest out there for both Mitch and Mason. They have been dynamite so far today.
Does Kodiak Cakes do syrup?
If they don't, we might need to talk to them
about that, huh?
Yeah. I'll tell you what, if they don't do syrup, they need to do a Farmington flavored.
I'll tell you, this Farmington offense is smooth as butter.
Mm-hmm.
It has been electric, and there's a lot of velocity, a lot of ball movement. And you talk about the defense. This is a complete Farmington squad.
It is. It's one of those teams that feels like they've really matured throughout the course of the season. To see another shot there.
That one sails a little bit. Backed up here. Uh-oh. Woo! Wow. That was one I actually thought Day had that one, but Hepworth able to beat him.
We'll give that one the hooah as he goes with the fake upstairs and goes underneath for the goal. Mason Hepworth just showing off at this point, Dane. You love to see it. Such a talented player. And Farmington jumps out to a 12-goal lead. A minute into the second half, Dane. Just really impressed with the focus and the concentration on the side of the Phoenix.
By the way, you talk about Region 1. This team finished 3rd in Region 1.
Yeah. Hard to believe, right?
Yeah. Penalty flag down here on the play. 14-2 advantage and a running clock here in this second half now as a cross check there will send Farmington man or PG man down. Talk about PG and Region 4. Tough year where the Vikings got the win over Skyridge, their lone region win. Above 500 in non-region play. That skipped across, extra pass worked in front. Day with a nice save. And we saw him early on when they took on American Fork, and Day was great despite the final score in that one today. Hasn't had the offensive support, but, man, he's had to deal with some really electric shot opportunities that Farmington's being able to create.
Yeah, you see why you and I both think so highly of Connor Day. The fool me once there. Mason Hepworth tried to go upstairs and downstairs again. Couldn't make it happen, but Farmington on the attack here.
Jake Guile goes washing machine style with a spin move. The shot going high corner. Mason Hepworth again. I have a feeling there's probably going to be a write-up on Mason Hepworth in a newsletter this week. Brian, what do you think?
You got to give the man his due, Dane, and it's been so fun to watch him today. Just grows more and more confident as the game goes on. 7 goals. Incredible for him, but absolutely. And we haven't had a chance to cover as many games up north as maybe we would like. You can see there's just so much talent. I'm sure we'll see something on the Utah Lacrosse Report. Mason Hepworth. Also, the all-region teams announced on the boys' side of things. That'll be releasing soon, along with an update on the playoffs. So much action this week here in Lacrosse. Excited for next week as well, too.
Yes, we will be there. Have semifinals, championships is another goal here for Farmington, making it 16-2, but we'll have semifinal action, 6A, 5A, 4A coming up for you Wednesday, and then championship Friday. All those games will be right here as Cooper Hyde scoring his first goal of the game.
Great to see the senior attack get a goal there. And Farmington just playing so well. The execution today has been so on point, Dane. This can be the biggest difference in these games is how many of those ground balls can you maintain. Speaking of ground balls, Tyler Jacobs has done a great job today in his face-offs. As I put the announcer jinx on him right there, right?
This one trickling down. PG trying to protect it. Still a ground ball. Jacobson hoping to sweep that out to Milne. And we've got a whistles here. We've got, I believe, a timeout taken. Yes, we do. Timeout taken by Farmington to keep the possession. Timeout, Phoenix. Welcome back. Farmington on the possession. A lot of momentum. That one a little high. Backed up here.
Just wide, backed up by Farmington.
You know, we talk about the day for Mason Hepworth. How about this? According to Stats Report, he's got 7 goals today. Best offensive performance of the season. The most goals he had scored prior to today, 5 against Clearfield. As this one kept out by Day. Nice save there for Connor.
That's one thing about the playoffs, Dane, is you want to get it to your hot hands, right? You want to get it in the hands of your great players. Farmington started things early with, I believe it was Kai Levitt actually got the first goal.
Yes.
It's almost like that jump-started the mano-a-mano battle between Hepworth and Mitch Milne ever since.
Penalty flag here. In on the play. This will be on Farmington. I think offside, I believe.
Surprisingly quiet day for Riken Davis there for Pleasant Grove.
Yeah. 36 goals on the season, 9 assists, and yet I don't know that I've called his name much today.
Yeah, I was even just looking around trying to see if he's out there today, and you wonder if maybe that's part of the reason why
Certainly could be.
we haven't seen quite the same offensive explosion from Pleasant Grove that we've been used to seeing this season. This is a team that had 141 goals on the season.
Yeah.
68 assists on those. So it's not like they aren't able to score.
Well, and we talked about it, Brian. It was, we saw this team to kick off Region 4, and they generated great opportunities.
Mm-hmm.
They haven't been able to generate much today. And so, if you don't have one of your top goal scorers, that would certainly impact offense's ability to get looks.
That does play a role, and you saw also early on a couple opportunities where they just weren't able to handle the ball, and that's a huge part of things. Because you've really got to take advantage of those early opportunities, especially in lacrosse, because it's such a mental challenge. And when you're in goal there and a team can get a couple early past you, you start thinking about everything.
When they got that early man-up goal and felt like, all right, they're going to get some confidence and get rolling, but Farmington scored the 3 goals to end the first, and it just felt like that was a launching pad for the Phoenix today. The rising out of the ashes of a tie has been nothing but domination for the home side. It's tracked down by Jacobson. It'll be PG possession here off the call. As approaching 3 to play here in the third quarter. Brian, when you look at the 6A tournament, obviously Corner Canyon, I think a lot of people's favorites. Who else do you think is a team to keep an eye on? We talked about some of the Region 1 teams, but anyone that you're like, that's a sneaky group?
Well, it's it's an interesting question, Dane, because I think Corner Canyon is the favorite, but I don't think that means that they're infallible. And I got a chance to watch them last week against Park City, and they do have a lot of talent on that roster. But there's, this northern region is really strong when it comes to lacrosse. We watched Westlake and Brighton early in the year. Have to wonder if maybe Westlake can catch some heat going into the playoffs.
That's a team that I kind of thought maybe took a step forward this year. I didn't have a lot of expectation of Westlake, but they finished with a winning record in Region 4 and a lot of momentum, feeling good. Top seed for the Thunder is Erickson with a couple nice saves. And how about the ball movement? Getting in front and scoring is Farmington once again. Kai Levitt with his second of the game.
Just a great job by Kai Levitt there, finding the open space. Again, so much about just athletics in general is about finding open space, right? Taking advantage of that space. You see him there finding that goal, getting one in the back of the net. Nice to see him add to his goal total. And Kai, just a junior. This is a pretty young Farmington team, so you have to imagine that that's part of why they maybe finished third in a very competitive region. Those growing pains as you're growing into it, because there's so much above that competitiveness that has to happen in game to really evolve as a player.
Back to the spot here. Approaching the final minute here in the third.
We talk about it, Dane. 6A, American Fork, Fremont, Lone Peak, some of the top teams here.
The way the bracket aligns, it actually, I'm excited. We could have some really interesting matchups starting in the quarters. We talked about Farmington Westlake being one of those. AF's got a tough one today. There's going to be some interesting matchups from here on out as another Ward. Almost enough for a steak here tonight. There you go.
Be here all weeks, folks.
Back in play.
Be sure to try the veal.
A ground ball taken away by the Phoenix. This one in between a couple of Farmington players.
Unfortunate on that last possession because I thought that Jake Guile did a great job of advancing the ball. And I always like to shout out the long sticks as a fellow former defender. Great job, long stick brethren, getting the ball upfield, doing a good job, getting it into the offense. Shout out to Jake.
All Farmington as we head to the fourth quarter when we come back. Welcome back. My apologies. We had a scoreboard glitch. It's 17-2. Our score here. There we go. Sometimes the computer doesn't do what we tell it to, Brian. You've lived that dream.
It's never operator error. That's a good part about when it's a computer.
Yeah. Farmington got some reserves in. I like trying to build depth here.
Mm-hmm.
Get them playoff experience. Luke Guile with it here. Oh, looking right in front. How about the finish? Boy, they leave the cage alone. It's Connor Day left. And a solid goal there by Harrison.
One-on-one, it's just such a tough task for the goalie there, but that's not to take away from the work of Malachi Harrison as he goes upstairs for a big-time goal. You talk about it, Dane, just so much depth on this Farmington roster. Haven't seen Harrison much at all. Puts his name in the ledger. Great job for the junior attack.
Yeah, third goal of the year for Malachi. As everyone able to get in on the scoring action today for Farmington. We talked about the potential matchup for the Phoenix. It's been confirmed. Westlake, the big winners today over the Roy Royals, 11-1. Of course, quarterfinal action scheduled to take place Saturday. We'll have a game for you. We just don't know which one yet. As Farmington here working through traffic there, Jacobson lost it, able to gain it back here for the Phoenix. Here's Harrison. Just as we talk about this one, Brian, we saw Westlake early on. We've seen Farmington today. When you think about that game, any matchups or items that would be top of mind for you? Keys?
Man, out here watching, trying to, see Dante Coates out there playing midfield. That's kind of a
he was begging earlier.
Change up for him, but that's got me all discombobulated. I can't even remember who the God of Lightning is over here, Dane, trying to drop these questions on me. But it's, I think it comes back to a lot of what we've talked about this season, right? The internal competitiveness and these teams that come out and set a tone early on, that do the little things and compete. That's really where I've seen a big difference in terms of wins and losses. It's going after those ground balls, those little things that just make a huge difference at the end of the game.
Erickson escorting that one out. It's interesting. You have two of the better defensive teams in 6A will be going head-to-head as we have a flag here all the way up the field. Looks like Luke going to serve time here on the penalty. And we've got the stoppage here. Timeout being called. We'll step aside. We'll take it. We'll be back. We'll come back to that thought because I think there's some really interesting things in that matchup. We'll be back. You're watching the second round action only on KSLSports.com. Welcome back. 8:09 to go. New goalie in for the Phoenix. You want to talk about developing? How about the freshman Tyson Hoskins coming in between the pipes for the Phoenix. PG will have it. And of course, we're talking about the 6A playoffs. That Westlake matchup against. Very interesting. That Westlake team really shut down Brighton. Of course, that was a team that defeated Olympus this year. And there's a lot to take from that when you talk about some of the top defenses in the state going toe-to-toe there in that quarterfinal.
And there is, and some fun matchups, some interesting matchups. We saw Davis take care of business earlier today. They'll face the winner of Riverton Bingham. You like seeing that inter-region play where you kind of cross over and face teams from different parts of the state, really competitive. But you mentioned American Fork, a team that I think, as we watched them, a team that I felt like was known for their defense, posting a score of 14-5 today.
Well, if Zach Fisher gets going, then they can score with the best of them. As a flag coming in here, that's before the shot. Multiple flags all over the field. We've got 4 of them and only 3 officials to give you any indication of their opinion on that play. So we'll have a man-up opportunity here for the Phoenix.
Yeah, if the good news is if you have allergies, the officials have you covered. Plenty of handkerchiefs out on the field, and rightfully so. You could hear the hit from all the way up here in the box, and I think if you're Pleasant Grove, frustrating day for sure. Didn't go the way you expected it to, but it's part of it.
So man up here for Farmington. Of course, always good to see. I missed the player who got hit, but no one being looked at on the sideline, so that's good. You never want anyone getting injured or having too significant of injuries. Of course, a running clock here for the majority of this second half. And we got 2 players in the box here for PG. So Farmington here with a big lead and going to go 6-on-4 here. Sent out, shot. That did not make its way through. Worked over. Here's Duncan. Sent up. Trickling towards the corner where Taylor Kendall will gather for the Phoenix. 5 to go here in regulation.
Looks like Pleasant Grove about to get 1 player out of the box. Down 2 men.
That shot just a little high, backed up here. And back to even strength.
Dan, you've been around lacrosse a lot longer than I have. The differences between playoff and the regular season, what are some of the things that you have really stood out to you over time?
There is no tomorrow. Is that one thrown on frame? The freshman able to stop it? I do think that the containing emotions, right? Sometimes just a play here, a play there, and I think finding another gear is, boy, tic-tac-toe passing, and Farmington scoring once again. I think this is Harrison. No, that was number 80, Levi Ashby, the freshman.
Levi Ashby, assisted by Taylor Kendall.
You think about some of those moments. I mean, you think about last year, the 6A championship game, and American Fork is giving Corner Canyon all they can handle, and someone's just got to downshift, right, and say, hey, nope, this ends now. And last year for Corner Canyon, that was Mason Quick. And sometimes you have those gutty games. You know it, football, basketball, you got to win ugly sometimes. And I think most of the time champions have an ugly game that they've got to overcome something. And you maybe don't have to find that gear in the regular season because there is a tomorrow, there is a next game, but in the playoffs there isn't. So I think that's one of the big things for me that I think is consistent throughout a lot of sports.
You know, as I'm around different games and different sports, the one thing that seems to be very consistent is the outside noise, Dane. And the best teams are the teams that can block out the outside noise, and that's things like rankings and reputation and past performances and all that kind of junk that can really get inside the head. And I think that's the task at hand for, you know, an American Fork or, you know, a Lone Peak who will have a tough matchup. I think, is it Harriman that they play on Saturday, I believe.
I'll tell you one of the things that I'm looking forward to. What does Corner Canyon do? Mm-hmm. You know, not that they're still Corner Canyon. It still says Corner Canyon on the jersey, right? But I think there has been a chink in the armor. I mean, they aren't the team they were last year. Is there someone in 6A who can come and make that statement in the playoffs and say, hey, this year, like, there's a new king of the mountain? I think they're still the favorites in 6A. But to your point, I don't think that they're unbeatable. And so is there a team that can take down the defending champs? We'll see.
Well, and it's the urgency that's created by this is your last game that I think really will show us the progress of the other programs in the state, because you talk about it, Corner Canyon has been the staple for so long. The development is there. The program has been in good hands. They have some outstanding players. There's Blake Frankowiak, Fippen in the goal, Baird, the long stick, you know, players that stand out just top of my head. But that doesn't mean that there aren't equally talented players across the sport on different teams.
Well, let's look at this matchup. If Farmington walked into a game like that and they started off 4-1, does that give them a boost of confidence and maybe, you know, deflate Corner a little bit? Look, it's a proven team in Corner. I'm not trying to take that away from them, but is there a team that can match up with them? Yeah, I think so. So anyway, I'm excited to see that. I think there's going to be more intrigue amongst the big classification, more this year than we've seen. And it's not a long history as a sanctioned sport. I get all that, but that's what I think is going to be exciting about the 6A playoffs.
I agree with you, and I think there are some programs like Farmington. You know, we saw Mitch Milne, a sophomore, play like a senior. It was a nice little shot on goal there from Farmington. And that's really where I think what you're talking about in terms of the growth of the state. There are some young programs out there, Davis, Farmington, two that come to mind where they're younger teams. Brighton this year, I think, has shown a ton of growth with a team with a lot of juniors and sophomores that are playing every game. You know, I referenced it earlier. I watched Highland and East, and Highland's entire defensive line is almost all sophomores. A lot of growth potential there for them, but that's the unique part about the evolution of the season, right? Is can a program like Davis, for example, with so much youth, can they start to capitalize on the talent they have? You know, can a player like Mitch Milne really attack Corner Canyon with some experience and some confidence coming off a playoff win like this?
We'll find out next week. Look, playoffs continue. Saturday quarterfinal action coming up. All Farmington here today, 19-2. They take care of business against PG. Brian, you're player of the game.
Yeah, without a doubt, it's Mason Hepworth, and it was a neck-and-neck contest there with Mitch Milne early on. But what really impressed me about Hepworth, he came out and set the tone in the second half. He was not going to allow a comeback. He was not going to allow any kind of momentum to go to the Pleasant Grove side, and just a dominant performance for him. Congratulations to Mason Hepworth, the player of the game.
7 goals for Hepworth, helping to lead Farmington into the quarterfinals. For Vince Francis, Brian Brown, my name is Dane Stewart. Thanks for joining us. Our third game of our triple header on the Rewind Sports Network coming up as the Farmington girls prepare to host the Copper Hills Grizzlies. Don't go anywhere. We'll have that game for you.